Okay, so Patrick, let me give you this one, and it's just tagging right on with what Tony's just talking about. Those who would criticize evangelicals, and I'm thinking really of, for example, Roman Catholic critiques, would say it's exactly what Tony just said that will be our undoing. Our failure to deal with the authority issue is a reason, and this is my words, but that in 20 years we'll be talking about the 50 new denominations we've formed, and those sorts of things. So what do you think of that critique of evangelicals, that the authority issue ultimately is our undoing?
Well, I'll be stepping on a big limb here, I'm sure, but I accept it, and I agree with it. And I say this from a position that's very sympathetic with the emergent movement, but I do see this as one of the difficulties that we have to confront. And from given my own formation as an evangelical, I've also been very, very seriously formed, very much indebted to my experience in both professionally but more so in my own formation. My experience where I think of myself as, I'm an evangelical on this shoulder and a Roman Catholic on this one. I don't try to reconcile them, I just coexist and try to live them both out in that sense. Are they contrasting forms of authority? Yes. But I'm also working with another initiative that's going under the name of canonical theism. William Abraham is involved in this, and I'm very much persuaded by it that one of the mistakes that we've made is sort of tossing history out as a form of magisterium, as a form of teaching, and that the councils have an authority by which I mean the ecumenical councils of the church, Nicaea, for example, has an authority that's not disposable for us. It's obligatory. I think it's very clear that the Church Fathers most certainly understood that the episcopate had a certain amount of authority that was also obligatory. And there is a accountability that comes with authority that can be very important. I think one of the difficulties that we struggle with is we've been given a view of authority. I could quote something like Kant's essay on what is enlightenment if I wanted an enlightenment example of this. That authority is that which keeps you immature, and enlightenment or self-realization is breaking away from that and thinking for yourself. No one taught you language, or you didn't learn to speak by thinking for yourself. You learned language because someone taught you. And that's the way most of our empirical life works. We recognize all kinds of authority. It's not slavish imitation, but it is honoring, and it is accountability. And the difficulty of the splintering of Protestantism all over the map, and sometimes over extremely petty differences, is a critique that's been made from the very beginning of Catholic responses to the magisterial Reformation. I think it's an acceptable critique, and however we come out in the wash, we at least have to come to terms with it and hold that there is something to be said about the authority. The way I would like to understand it is that great cloud of witness that comes before us that we stand in the line of. Can that be reduced to a single office? No. But we're nevertheless obliged to honor our mother and father, spiritually as well as physically, and know something about our spiritual ancestors that even made it possible for us to receive the gospel through their own faithfulness. So I accept it in that way.
Awesome answer. Somebody else want to respond to that?
Join the discussion at profra.com.